Hey guys,
Hi.
happy Wednesday. News and Brews episode 5 tonight.
5, huh?
Yeah, 5 weeks. We're doing good. We're doing all right.
All right.
Kittyanne Hudson
Ben Latocki, Production Realty.
here in Jackson. You know us. It's fine.
What are we talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about all of the bad things that happen after you buy a house and who's responsible for it. So we have had...
That can happen.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen, of course not.
This is every now and then, and it seems to have popped up a few times these last few weeks in our office, and it's just random, but like
you close on a deal, right? So everybody signs on the line. Seller sells the house.
Yep.
Buyer's happy to buy that house.
Buyer gets the keys.
Moves in.
Seller walks away.
2 weeks later, our pipes aren't draining the right way.
Yeah.
Our basement floods. Our sump pump quits.
Issue.
The garage door stops working. Something's wrong with the lights. Something happens that we just don't want to deal with as a brand new homeowner. So who's responsible for that?
Yeah, so that's the question. And actually, every time this happens, and sometimes it's 2 weeks down the road. Sometimes it's
6 months, 2 years.
I'm saying sometimes it's 2 hours.
Oh,
like sometimes it's something that happens right away, and the buyer's like, "Well, what do I do?"
2 hours later?
I mean, it doesn't matter, right? We close.
Yeah, I guess it
buyer
doesn't
gets keys. Something happens in the house.
Right.
What do we do? And they call us because they want to know, right?
Yeah, first person that blames the realtor, right? So it's not our fault, I promise. We didn't flood your basement.
Sure.
we didn't break your electrical panel.
But the short answer is it's your home.
Right. So once you sign on the line, you are, as the buyer, you are accepting the house as is in that particular moment. So one way that we try to combat any of these post-closing issues from happening is by doing a final walkthrough.
In a home inspection.
Well, yeah, home inspection comes before we get to the closing, though. So a lot of times we do that home inspection and we see some issues or some potential problems that we're going to have with our burden of home ownership. It's not, I don't want to say burden. I don't know. With the...
No, I mean, you're responsible for this new house. And so,
right,
like when...
This is what it's going to be like to own this house.
Yeah, so once you own a house for 10, 15 years or something, you kind of know all the quirks.
Right.
When you buy a new house, or you're the new owner of an old house. Or
even if you buy a new house, like everybody has a new construction,
right. You need to learn all these new.
Right, because it's new to you, It's new to you. So just like when you buy a new car, it takes you a minute to figure out where the blinker is versus where the windshield wiper is. It just takes a second to get acclimated to your new surroundings, right?
So I want to specifically talk about a couple of scenarios though.
Okay.
So you buy the house, a week later there's a plumbing backup issue, right?
Okay.
Unless it was some sort of a hidden issue.
Like the seller just covered it up?
Yeah, like the seller hid the thing.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's just something that happened.
Yeah.
It just happened to happen very close to the
closing date.
The closing date. And the buyer needs to fix it. It's the new owner's responsibility to maintain and fix the home. Right,
because when you like we said, when you purchase the house, you are at that point in time you're accepting the house in the condition that it is at the time of closing. And so any issues that happen after that, like Ben said, even if it's 2 hours after you leave from the title company, it's gonna be the problem or it's the new buyer's issue to deal with.
We've had trees fall down a day or two after closing.
What happened after we bought this house? Anything crazy?
No, we did a lot of work to this
we did
house,
do a lot of work.
Not really a lot of surprises.
Yeah, that's true. We did have some dead mice in the electrical panel. That was terrible.
Yeah, so speaking of electrical, recently we had a transaction where we had a home inspection. We feasibly did everything right. We did the home inspection. Inspector said we want X, Y, and Z fixed. Seller agrees to do those fixes. Seller gives us a paid invoice from the electrician showing that it's done.
Okay.
We close. Buyer, after closing, goes in and is not happy with the quality of the job that was done.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
We weren't able to do, for whatever reason, to verify it, like to go and look at that repair. So the final walkthrough wasn't done. Right? And so now what?
So as a part of the contract, there was an addendum that said the seller was going to fix,
do this repair,
make A and B changes.
Yeah, they paid it. They paid for a repair.
Okay.
That was where our investigation stopped.
Yeah, right. Because we have confidence that the homeowner, the seller, is going to do the right thing. They said they were going to do it. We believe that they did it, and there were invoices to show that. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
and sometimes it might come down just to an argument of one person's expectation of a repair doesn't equal another person's expectation of a repair. Plus, you have two different. The buyer is not paying for the repair.
Right.
The seller, in this case, was paying for the repair.
Right.
So a buyer may have this expectation of much higher than what the seller's trying to just get by with. I mean, that can happen.
Right. Yeah. So we see that. I mean, like, to kind of combat that a little bit, like, if your expectation is here, then you should have no problem paying for that repair to be done, right? So whoever pays for it gets to pick who does the work, in theory, right? So if the seller was responsible for the repair, for making the repair, for paying for the repair to be done by a licensed contractor, more than likely that seller grabbed the first available contractor who was going to do it for the cheapest amount of money. So quality may not have been up to snuff.
Yeah.
So now we have a post-closing issue.
Yeah, there's a disagreement between buyer thinks it's not done correctly, seller says it is.
Who took care of it? Did it get hammered out?
We're still in negotiations.
Okay, post-closing negotiations.
Post-closing negotiations, which are never fun. As a buyer, you kind of lose a lot of leverage at that point.
Yeah, right.
You don't have the ability to say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to close. I'm not going to buy the house." So
because you already own it.
Yeah, right. So you already bought it. You already own it. But luckily, we know contractors. We know the home inspectors. We're able to hook up the home inspector that they hired.
The one that found the issue. Okay.
Hook up the home inspector with one of our preferred contractors.
Okay.
To go in there and hammer out
figure out what the issue was.
Well, what's going to make that new homeowner happy. Now we have a estimate and a timeline, and now we can ask if the seller will contribute. If the seller's willing to do it, and so we're working on those negotiations right now. But
yeah. So we always hope that the sellers will do the right thing, and most times they do. I mean, really, but that's one of the benefits of working in this industry is you meet so many amazing people, and you really do realize that so many people are good, and so many people are willing to do the right thing if they just know what the right thing is.
Yeah, right.
You need a little bit of guidance to get there.
Most clients they're not out there to screw people around or anything. So, but trust that it's done, and then verify that it's done. It's done, and verify that it's done to your satisfaction. If you're buying a house and you're asking for repairs to be done, what have you, then go in and make sure they're done
every time. Even if it's a small repair. Even if I don't care how big the repair is or isn't.
Like painting, I mean, it's real common that we have somebody needs something painted.
Yeah, patch and paint real quick.
To deal with appraisals, and
somebody threw some white paint on an orange wall.
Yeah,
I patched it. I painted it. Yeah, that's true. So just go in and verify that the repairs that you have asked to be made as the buyer, go in and verify that those have been done before you get to the closing table. If you get to the closing table and you move into that house and now there's an issue, something comes up. Well, in theory, most of the time, in good practice, that's now your issue to deal with as the buyer. So
just your responsibility.
Yeah, it kind of sucks to talk about these kind of things, but they're real life issues. They happen. And home ownership is a wonderful ride. It's definitely an adventure and a journey. There's many, many more benefits than there are downfalls to home ownership, and we can touch base on those. Maybe that's a good topic for next week, like why buy versus rent or something like that. So.
Yeah, keep sending us your questions.
Yeah, we definitely are trying to play into what you guys are interested in and what you're experiencing as buyers and sellers or potential buyers and sellers. And we're probably drinking a beer around 8 o'clock anyway, so might as well talk to you guys while we do it.
Sure.
Tonight's beer is from Atwater Brewery, which was first born in Detroit, and it's a brown ale.
First brown ale. Atwater Brewery. The can, you can't really.
It's a trout can. It says trout
Fish on
unlimited.
here.
Pairs well with Pure Marquette River and all things trouty. So we didn't have any fish for dinner tonight, but it's a good beer, not a bad winter beer. Like we were talking earlier, we like to get to those darker beers as the season, as the days get darker faster. So okay, guys,
Cheers.
We'll check you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.